Well, it's estimated that more than 600,000 U.S. military veterans are living with the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. Those effects can make daily life a struggle for our nation's heroes, but the Wounded Warrior Project hopes to change that. Joining us live to tell us about the help to break the barriers and stigma behind PTSD is Ryan Cools, the director of the Wounded Warrior Project's Project Odyssey, and Yolanda Poulard, an Army veteran. Good morning to you both. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Ryan, let me start with you. How common is it for returning warriors to develop PTSD?
So we know that PTSD is a completely normal reaction to an abnormal situation, which is trauma that is experienced in combat or other situations. And those veterans that are returning from Iraq or Afghanistan, more likely than not, have had some traumatic situation they've experienced in a combat environment. So it is common for individuals to develop PTSD. But as an organization, one of the things that we focus on a daily basis is making sure to share that there's help and resources out there and ways to help overcome and manage the symptoms of PTSD.
Yeah, so as we talk a little bit about that help this morning, Yolanda, first let me just say thank you for your service and thank you for joining us today to talk about this. It's such an important issue. Tell us a little bit about your deployments, your experience, and what made you want to ask for help.
My first deployment was in Iraq. I served as a company commander. I was the commander for 123rd Signal Battalion, HHC company. And then my next deployment was in Afghanistan, where I worked with I was a part of the female engagement team. We worked with young ladies. It was in Zabul, Afghanistan. We also helped with the establishment of schools for young ladies, going out and just doing different type of missions. And I could recall on our last mission, I did not go out, and that's when our soldiers was attacked. And on that day, we lost 3 soldiers.
Oh my God.
And from there, I decided that after I returned home a year later, I was still struggling, still living this empty life in the black hole. I was introduced to Warrior Care Network, and that's where my healing began.
Yeah, Ryan, I think it's hard to imagine sometimes the physical and emotional stress that our veterans go through, and then to come home and be in a completely different environment with new challenges and new struggles. What are some of the barriers that prevent veterans from seeking treatment?
So we know about 1 in 5 veterans either put off or do not seek needed mental health support. And the vast majority of those veterans indicate that it's really the stigma associated with asking for help that causes them to not seek or put off seeking care. And that stigma can manifest itself anywhere from feeling weak for asking for help, or feeling not worthy of the help and support that's out there because they may feel that someone else is more deserving or needs it more, when those support services are there and they would be able to greatly benefit from them.
So, Yolanda, what has been most helpful for you? What have you been able to find to help with emotional and mental health?
I think the program as a whole has been the most helpful. Just learning how to accept the new me, because once you return from war, you're a totally different person. Once you've been traumatized, you're different. And one of the biggest things that helped me was the cognitive training, where you understand that the things that happen to you is not your fault, and you didn't have control over certain things.
It's an important message, and again, as you mentioned, Ryan, getting through that stigma, these conversations can be so important, just to let people know that they are not alone and that there is help available out there. Ryan, Yolanda, thank you both for joining us. It's an important conversation. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
And if you
Thank
know,
you.
yes, thank you both. And if you know of a veteran who needs some support, you can visit woundedwarriorproject.org for more information.